Are you about to buy in Gentilly and assume every block is the same? Don't. In 2026, the wrong pocket can mean higher insurance, louder commutes, and costly foundation surprises. Most people think it's all high ground, but that's partly true. I was born and raised right here in New Orleans, and I help people make a smooth move to the Big Easy. In this guide, I'll map Gentilly's micro neighborhoods, show who thrives here, compare it to Mid-City and Lakeview, and reveal the mistake buyers keep making, plus the street pattern that can quietly lower your insurance. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. So let's get you oriented. Gentilly sits northeast of Mid-City and stretches forward towards Lake Pontchartrain. You've got easy access with I-610 running along the south edge and Elysian Fields cutting north-south straight to the lakefront and the UNO campus. That alignment is why commuting here feels predictable. You can hop on I-610 for cross-town trips or slide down Elysian Fields into the quarter and CBD without zigzagging. The big advantage is Gentilly Ridge. It's a natural rise, subtle, but it matters. Blocks on or near the ridge tend to sit a bit higher, drain better, and see more favorable insurance quotes. Not every street wins equally, but the ridge is the backbone of why Gentilly works for a lot of buyers who want value without constant flood anxiety. Gentilly breaks into distinct sub-districts: Gentilly Terrace, Filmore, Milneburg, Gentilly Woods, and closer to the lake, Lake Terrace and Lake Oaks. For this video, we'll focus on Gentilly Terrace, where we are right now, Filmore, Milneburg, and Woods, because that's where most of you are choosing between elevation, house style, and budget. The lived-in vibe here is classic New Orleans, but calmer. Front porches, tree-lined blocks, and light traffic off the main corridors. It's suburban ease with city access. Commutes to City Park, the French Quarter, and the medical corridors often land in that 10 to 20 minute window, depending on time of day and which corridor you use. If you're driving at peak times on I-610, expect the usual slowdowns near merges, but your street grid options help you work around it. Anchors matter too. UNO, Suno, and Dillard bring steady daytime activity, rental demand, and a younger energy around Milneburg and along Elysian Fields. Daily life feels practical. Groceries close by, corner stores everywhere, and the lakefront just up the road for sunsets and a jog on the levee path. Now let's break down the 4 micro areas you asked about: what to love and what to watch. Gentilly Terrace is the storybook section, traced with lots set on man-made hills that were elevated before construction. That small rise gives you a tangible drainage advantage. Architecturally, expect Spanish Revival arches, English Tudor detailing, and California bungalows mixed with classic New Orleans shotguns. The porch culture here is real. Neighbors know each other and there's strong neighborhood association energy. Pros in Terrace: elevation on those raised lots, charming facades, and a stable street grid that feels cohesive. You'll often see better yard definition, mature trees, and homes with character that holds value. Watch-fors: many houses are older pier and beam, so plan for a thorough inspection: sills, joists, moisture, and ventilation. The sidewalks and potholes vary block to block. The orange cone reality is a thing in New Orleans, and you'll see it here too. Also note corridor proximity. Being too close to Elysian Fields or Franklin can bring more noise than you want. One or two streets off the main can make a big difference. Filmore brings you classic mid-century layouts on wider lots with practical floor plans. Think 3-bed ranches, functional kitchens, and backyards with depth for gardens, dogs, and weekend crawfish boils. Streets read quiet and residential with a simple grid that makes parking and errands easy. Pros in Filmore: great value for the space, renovation upside without overbuilding the block, and a yard profile that supports outdoor living. Watch fors are drain upgrades vary house to house. Look for updated gutters, downspouts that kick water away, and lot grading that doesn't send water towards slab or piers. Ask about recent street catch basin cleaning or any city work on your block. The difference between a yard that dries in a few hours versus a day can show up in your maintenance budget. Milneburg leans into the lake breeze lifestyle near UNO. You'll feel the open sky, get quick access to the levee path, and catch sunsets that make you wonder why you ever paid more elsewhere. The housing mix runs from older cottages to newer infill, and you'll see student energy from UNO, coffee spots, bikes, and joggers. Pros in Milneburg: immediate outdoor access, youthful energy, and strong rental demand within reach of campus and the lakefront. This is where an evening walk can feel like a reset. Watch fors: wind exposure ramps up as you get closer to the lake. Roof condition matters: shingles, clips, and underlayment. Insurance quotes can vary based on micro elevation and construction type, so get multiple bids and verify any wind mitigation reports to capture for discounts you qualify for. Gentilly Woods is post-war ranch country. Solid brick, single-level living, carports, and wider streets that give you the suburban cadence. If you want space, accessibility, and off-street parking, Woods checks those boxes without pushing you far from the city core. Pros in Woods: mid-century build quality, easy maintenance on a single level, and driveways or carports that simplify daily life. Watch fors: understand slab versus pier and beam implications here. Slabs reduce crawl space worries, but require careful drainage. Pier and beam allows access to utilities, but needs healthy ventilation and pest control. Verify waterline history and ask for documentation on any past remediation. And as always, check the block's street condition. Pothole patterns affect your commute comfort and your alignment. Threading through daily life across all 4 areas, you've got Winn-Dixie for groceries, corner stores that save you when you're out of spices, and local cafes that double as community hubs. Errands don't require crossing town, which serves both time and stress. You feel the rhythm of New Orleans without the crowds. Here's the part most people miss: your best micro area fit depends on how you weigh elevation, noise tolerance, yard size, and renovation appetite. If elevation and charm come first, Terrace shines. If function and yard depth matter, Filmore wins. If lakefront access and UNO energy call to you, Milneburg feels right. If you want single-level brick with easy parking, look at Gentilly Woods. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a quiet street pattern that can save you on insurance. Staying 1 to 3 streets off the major corridors and nudging closer to the ridge often improves both noise and risk profiles. which can show up as better quotes. It's not a guarantee, but I've seen it help. Next, we'll give you the Buying Playbook: structure, flood, insurance, and streets, so you don't learn the hard way. Let me clear up one of the most common questions we get about Gentilly, especially from buyers who are comparing different parts of New Orleans. You almost never see homes in Gentilly sell above $1 million. And that's not an accident. Gentilly isn't a prestige pricing neighborhood, it's a value for space neighborhood. What people are paying for here is livability, wider streets, larger lots, driveways, garages, pools, and a calmer, more residential feel. Not luxury branding. Let me give you a few real examples that show how this plays out in real life. One example is this newer Camelback home on Frenchman Street, currently listed at $364,000. This is a modern build from the late 2010s with an open floor plan, high ceilings, solid wood floors, and a large kitchen with a central island that works for everyday living and entertaining. The primary suite is on the main level with updated bathrooms, quality finishes, and a fenced yard with off-street parking. It's also located in an ex-flood zone, something buyers really care about. Yet even with all of that, it still sits comfortably below the $1 million mark. Another example is over here in Lake Terrace on Oriole Street. This house is currently listed at $699,000. This home shows the upper end of what Gentilly offers in terms of size. We're talking close to 5,000 square feet, multiple living room areas, 5 bedrooms, flexible office and sunroom space, and a pool with a cabana that includes a full bathroom and kitchen. It's the kind of home that works for large families, multi-generational living, or people who simply want room to spread out. Even at that size, with those features, it still trades well under $1 million. These examples explain why Gentilly has a very natural price ceiling. Once buyers move into the 7-figure range, they usually start prioritizing different things: walkability, historic prestige, waterfront locations, or well-known luxury districts. Gentilly isn't trying to compete there, and it doesn't need to. That's actually what keeps Gentilly stable. Prices here don't spike wildly, but they also don't collapse. You get space, consistency, and long-term livability without paying a premium just for a neighborhood name. So if you're looking for a smart primary residence, room to grow, and a neighborhood where people actually stay, Gentilly makes a lot of sense. But if you're chasing $1 million status home, you're probably looking somewhere else in the city and paying a lot more for a lot less space. Gentilly isn't flashy. It's practical, residential, and quietly confident. And for many buyers, that's exactly the point. Okay, so let's build your checklist. Start with structure. In Gentilly, you'll see 2 main foundations: pier and beam and slab. Pier and beam gives you access and airflow. It's easier to level, repair plumbing, and run new lines. But you must confirm healthy ventilation, intact sills and joists, and no chronic moisture. Bring a crawl space specialist if clearance is tight. Slab offers stability and fewer pests, but drainage becomes non-negotiable. You want clean, extended downspouts, proper grading away from the slab, and soil that doesn't hold water at the perimeter. Hairline cracks are common. You're looking for displacement, doors sticking, or uneven floors as red flags. For either type, insist on structural inspection, plus a plumbing test. older cast iron lines can surprise you. Now, flood zones in practice. The ridge, blocks, and the terraced pockets often sit higher. That doesn't mean no policy needed. It means you likely see more favorable quotes. Ask the seller for their current flood declarations page and any elevation certificate on file. If there's no elevation certificate, I'll help you price one so you can shop accurate quotes. Remember, 2 houses on the same street can fall into different micro elevations and policy tiers. Verify, don't assume. Drainage is where deals are won. Look for gutters sized correctly with clean screens, downspouts that kick water at least 6 feet away, and swales that move water to the street, not your neighbor's fence. Walk the block after a rain if possible. Do the driveway and sidewalk hold water. Are the street catch basins clear or packed with leaves? Ask the inspector to probe soil near the foundation. If it's spongy 2 days after rainfall, budget for grading. Let's talk roofs and wind. The lakefront breeze you love can stress a weak roof. You want architectural shingles, properly nailed with starter strips and ridge caps. Check for roof-to-wall connections and clips. Ask for a wind mitigation report. The right clips and decking can unlock credits. Inspect soffit vents and attic airflow. Poor ventilation shortens roof life and raises attic temps, which strains HVAC. Insurance is the reality check. Quote both homeowners and flood with the same inputs: age of roof, opening protection, foundation and elevation certificate. Ask carriers about discounts for roof clips, fortified roofs, and monitored alarms. If you're near the lake or a major corridor, get a second quote that accounts for wind exposure. Small documentation differences shift premiums more than you think. Street conditions matter more than people expect. Cones and potholes aren't just cosmetic. They affect the wear, suspension, and daily comfort. Drive your potential commute at rush hour. Note any pooling at intersections or low crowns. Track how long city repairs take by checking the 311 history for that block. If cones have camped out for months, plan your alignment budget accordingly. Corridor proximity is a trade. Elysian Fields, Franklin, and I-610 bring speed but add noise and vibration. One of 3 streets off the main usually buys you calmer nights and better quotes. Walk the sidewalk during peak hours. If truck rumble bothers you, you won't tune it out. Prioritize interior streets with fewer cut-through patterns. Renovation math, quick and clear. For mid-century electrical, ask about grounded outlets, AFCI and GFCI protection, and panel capacity. For plumbing, confirm materials, copper, PEX, or legacy cast iron. HVAC should be sized to the home, with sealed ducts and clean return path. Windows, original wood, can be beautiful and efficient with proper weather stripping. You don't have to chase vinyl unless the originals are failing. Create your offer strategy around condition tiers. Tier 1, move-in ready with recent roof, updated systems, clean elevation data. Pay close to ask if priced in line with comps. Tier 2, cosmetic updates needed but strong bones. Target a discount that covers paint, floors, and minor bath refresh.
Tier 3, structural, drainage, or system overhauls. Budget with real contractor bids, not guesses, and build contingency for unforeseen. Here's the bottom line. In Gentilly, the right block and the right house, verified by structure, flood, insurance, and street reality, deliver a calm, authentic lifestyle with strong value. Use this playbook, and you'll avoid the expensive lessons. Now let's stack Gentilly against Mid-City and Lakeview so you can see where your lifestyle and budget line up. Let's line these up so you can feel the differences in your day-to-day. Gentilly gives you space and calm. Bigger lots, quieter interior streets, and that porch-forward lifestyle. Mid-City trades space for bustle. Restaurants, bars, the streetcar, and a denser grid with more foot traffic. Lakeview leans polished and lake-adjacent, with newer construction, wider boulevards, and a country club cadence. Housing stock tells the story. In Gentilly, you're looking at mid-century ranches, Spanish Revival, Tudor details, and bungalows. Often larger yards, room for a driveway, and a workshop or shed. Mid-City skews older, shotguns, doubles converted to singles, craftsman-era homes with charm and quirks. Lakeview brings newer builds, elevated slabs, open concept interiors, and attached garages. Fewer quirks, more uniform finishes. Affordability is where Gentilly earns attention. You generally get more home for the money, more square footage, bigger yards than City or Lakeview. Mid-City's premium is about proximity to dining and the streetcar, plus the walkable feel. Lakeview's premium ties to newer homes, lake access, and highly sought-after amenities. Commutes are closer than people think. From Gentilly, it's a straight shot to the Quarter or CBD via Elysian Fields or I-610 connections, and a quick hop to City Park. Mid-City is already tucked by City Park and the hospitals, so short medical commutes and easy park days are a given. Lakeview offers the lakefront, the yacht club, and quick I-10 access, though you'll often add a few minutes to reach downtown compared to Mid-City. Schools and programs look similar on paper, charters and parochials across all three. But Gentilly's University Triangle with UNO, SUNO, and Dillard adds a learning ecosystem you feel. If you've got students or you want rental demand tied to academia, that's a plus. Lifestyle fit is the real separator. If you want yard depth, porch evenings, and a calmer street, Gentilly feels right. If your priority is walking to dinner 3 nights a week and catching the streetcar, Mid-City wins. If you prefer newer builds, structured HOA vibes, and lake life culture, Lakeview delivers. Here's the money question. What does your budget actually get you? In Gentilly, a typical budget stretches. Single-level brick, off-street parking, and a real backyard are common. In Mid-City, that same budget might land you a charming but tighter footprint with limited parking and a smaller yard. In Lakeview, you'll likely step into newer construction, but you may compress square footage or finishes to stay within budget. One more practical layer, insurance and elevation nuance. Gentilly's ridge blocks often, quote, more favorably than you expect, especially 1 to 3 streets off the big corridors. Mid-City's older stock can require targeted upgrades to win good premiums. Lakeview's newer roofs and clips often help on wind, though proximity to the lake brings its own variables. So how do we translate that into a decision you'll still love in 5 years? Let's build a quick framework. Who thrives in Gentilly? Start with space and light. If you want a bigger lot, a usable backyard, and single-level options that make life easy, especially with pets or strollers, Gentilly checks those boxes without pushing you into the suburbs. Evening breezes, shaded porches, and room for a grill station are part of the daily rhythm. If community matters, Gentilly's porch culture is hard to beat. Think casual porch concerts, crawfish boils, and neighbors who actually say hello. Neighborhood associations are active, and many blocks have long-term residents who care about the look and pace of the street. If you value outdoor access, Gentilly puts you close to UNO's lakefront, levee paths, and Pontchartrain Park's golf and tennis. After-work walks become habit. Sunsets on the levee are a real perk that doesn't require a special plan. If you're investment-minded, Gentilly's steady appreciation and practical renovation paths make sense. Near the universities, rental demand can be strong for well-maintained homes with off-street parking and solid systems. Value add is real if you respect the block and the architecture. Don't buy here unless you're comfortable with block-by-block due diligence. Flood history, foundation type, drainage updates, and corridor proximity are non-negotiables. Your inspection stack needs to include structure, plumbing, roof wind mitigation, and elevation verification. If you don't want that level of detail, you might prefer the uniformity of new builds elsewhere. Here's a simple 3-step plan. Step 1, pick your micro area by lifestyle. Terrace for elevation and charm. Filmore for function and yard depth. Milneberg for lake access and UNO energy. Gentilly Woods for single-level brick and wider streets. Step 2, confirm structure, flood, and insurance with real documents. Inspection reports, elevation certificates, and quotes that reflect the exact roof and openings. Step 3, pressure test Gentilly against your Mid-City or Lakeview shortlist with actual drive times, parking realities, and yard size. Do a 24-hour test. Morning commute, midday errands, evening noise level. When you run that play, the right answer becomes obvious. If you crave calm, space, and authentic New Orleans architecture with practical living, Gentilly is likely where you'll thrive. If nightlife and walkable dining sit on top, you'll lean Mid-City. If newer construction and lake culture call your name, you'll land in Lakeview. We'll help you verify the fit and make a confident move. Let's take a moment to talk food because that's daily life. For comfort plates, the original Fiorella's Cafe hits the spot. Crispy chicken, red beans on Mondays, and sides that feel like home. It's unfussy, quick, and consistent. For coffee and a laptop session, Shotgun House Coffee Roasters gives you that warm neighborhood, good espresso, plenty of light, and you'll see UNO students and locals mixing all day. Need a weeknight win? Whitney's Country Store does grab-and-go plates that save your evening. Thin-cut pork chops, mac and cheese, and po' boys when you're on the run. Groceries stay simple. Winn-Dixie covers the big shop, and the corner stores fill in the gaps. milk, spices, bagged ice before a boil. The rhythm is stress-free because it's all close. You're not crossing town for errands, which means you actually do the porch time you planned instead of sitting in traffic. And if you want to reset, the lakefront's right there. You can pick up dinner, head to the levee, and catch a breeze while the sun drops. It's everyday New Orleans, easy, familiar, and a little special without trying. Here's my personal take as someone born and raised right here in New Orleans. The calm is real, quiet streets, porch time, and kids on bikes create that timeless magic you don't have to fight for. It feels like a living postcard without the crowds. I love the architecture. Spanish Revival arches, Tudor gables, bungalows with wide eaves, and clean mid-century lines. Character with practicality. You get charm without giving up storage, parking, or a real backyard. The breeze matters more than you think. Evenings along the levee deliver those soft lake winds and open sky sunsets that reset your day. It's an everyday luxury that never gets old. And there's a balance here. You're wrapped in authentic New Orleans culture, second lines, church fairs, neighborhood gatherings, while still having room to breathe. It's grounded, welcoming, and it gives you permission to slow down. That's why so many of my clients end up choosing Gentilly. It just fits real life.
If you want space, authenticity, and value, Gentilly delivers. Just pick the right pocket and verify structure, flood, and insurance before you bid. Be sure to like and subscribe and watch our next neighborhood video. If you're planning a smooth move to the Big Easy, whether that's in 9 days or 90, feel free to reach out to me today.